I was woken up late last night by a ton of notifications on Twitter. My co-host from the Tailgate Show on 99.7 The Fox, John Ellis, texting and calling me as he's freaking out. Honestly, a pretty incredible day for Carolina Panthers fans and for those who follow this team. A massive, massive day one, getting Jaelan Phillips and Devin Lloyd. Jaelan Phillips, 4 years, $120 million. You paid a good penny for him. And then on the other side, I mean, with Devin Lloyd, you kind of got him for a steal. For as much as you dropped on Jaelan Phillips, getting Devin Lloyd for 3 years, $45 million is quite the steal. This is the team that Dan Morgan has talked about building, right? The team that has edge, that has grit, that has effort. You know, that's the kind of team that Dan Morgan wanted to see. It's very much how he played football, and you can see how he wants to emulate that with this Carolina Panthers team. Now, as we go towards the draft, suddenly you might be shifting your focus. You know, I feel like all of us were like defense. And now it's like, all right, well, let's see if Kenyon Sadiq falls that far. Let's see if Eli Stowers is there. Let's maybe bolster up the offensive line. Suddenly the perspective has changed. It's more like, I would say, accentual in a lot of ways for this Panthers team. A lot of accents, but there's still some holes that need to be filled, right? So ideally, this draft goes well. Suddenly you have a lineup that you can be really excited for if you're a Panthers fan, if you follow this team. And then once that happens, now you have to look and say, this team needs to execute. And that's where we're going to have the bigger conversations this year, right? And those big conversations revolve around Dave Canales and Bryce Young. You know, and I would say the conversations are a little bit more towards Dave Canales than they are Bryce. I think Bryce, in the right times, has looked fantastic. And it's funny because this past season I was kind of a Bryce, I don't want to say a Bryce hater, but like I wasn't as forgiving as probably many other people were of Bryce Young. And I feel like I got silenced during the game against the Rams. And I think a lot of us did. We know that Bryce Young can take it to another level. And I think that next level happens this year. You have to remember that he's also playing for a contract because, he's got that option. But then, listen, if you're going to go further, I mean, they exercise the 5th-year option. But if you're going to go further and actually, sign him to a full extension, then you need to see something that you haven't seen as consistently with Bryce Young. And I think with money on the line, he'll be able to do that. My bigger concerns come with Dave Canales. And here's where, maybe this is a little bit, maybe I'm being a little harsh here. I don't know. But here's the thing. You give up play calling to Brad Idzig and Darrell Bevell. You hired Darrell Bevell in the first place. My thing is, you have now taken the ball out of your court in many ways during the game. And so now here you are, now a third-year coach in this league, and many people, many experts, I think it was either ESPN or some maybe Pro Football Focus, one of those had him as the 4th highest hot seat odds, quote unquote, saying that it was put up or shut up time. And I think that's true. When you relinquish so much control of the actual game and you're like, hey, I'm just going to be a leader and a motivator and a developer, and that's what I believe I'm going to hang my hat on, then you better damn well do it. And you saw the development of Jalen Coker. You saw, obviously, Tedero McMillan coming in. He looked fantastic. But now you got to see your other pieces. You got to look at your other pieces and see how have we developed beyond that. There's still question marks with this team. Obviously, we don't know who wide receiver 3 is. To be honest with you, a lot of us are like, yes, Jalen Coker, wide receiver 2. Is he? Do we have enough to know that? There's a lot of question marks there. Also, on the defensive end, I mean, listen, Merrick and Jackson and Horn, fantastic. The other safety position, is Lathan Ransom going to take that next step? Do you go in the draft and you snag that kid from Oregon? Like, what do you do? So, a lot of people talking about Bryce Young being on the hot seat. I think Dave Canales in many ways, this is his year to really be like, hey, let me silence the critics, especially again when you relinquish so much like of the calling in the game. So we'll see what happens, but nonetheless, a massive first day for the Carolina Panthers. Hopefully we get some more news later on today, and we're going to find out who's really going to be that next member of the, next person in Process Blue, next player in Process Blue. We're going to find out soon enough, but nonetheless, let's celebrate what can be celebrated. And the fact is, Jaelan Phillips and Devin Lloyd, two of the best defenders in the game, are Carolina Panthers. It's pretty sick.